Toronto is a city that, at least in terms of hockey support, fan support, sorry to say, but I can say this because I am a born and raised Torontonian and I still live here, is a city in Canada that least is deserving, or is the least deserving of that privilege and right and honor, whatever you want to call it, but especially in terms of the financial bonuses. But I know why Hockey Canada is doing it, because they'll sell out the Air Canada Centre, because it's, especially the medal round. Preliminaries, well, that remains to be seen. I guess they can sell that out, but boy, you talk about getting rewarded and not earning it. That would certainly be the case there. You can tell me what you think, Neil. Go ahead.
No, I almost just agree with what you're saying. I just think that it's all about it's all economics. It's not really bringing the World Junior Tournament to the Torontonians and Montrealers. I think it's bringing them to a major city where they can get the most
exposure,
come from everywhere into that city to support the tournament. And you're right about Torontonians do not support junior hockey. There really is no evidence. And this is quite a conversation that could get heated with, I guess, with some people, and I'm a Torontonian, but there is no evidence that Toronto supports any hockey at all, but the Toronto Maple Leafs.
You're right. I mean, they showed up a little bit to see the Marlies when they went on that run to the Calder Cup final, and of course during the lockout, or the labor dispute rather, they were going because, I mean, realistically that was the only pro hockey, but leading up to that, and I don't know how much they have to give away, how many comp tickets MLSE gives out. Probably a lot, because I know from some friends who are Leaf season ticket holders, they get quite often emails offering them freebie Raptor tickets or major discounts on Raptor tickets. And, they've not been a very good team for quite a while. So they're obviously not having a great time moving Raptor tickets. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Neil, aren't folks who own Leaf tickets in the club seats required to buy Raptor tickets as well?
I knew they were at one time. I'm not sure
I don't know if they still are,
but I knew they were at one time.
Well, obviously the Raptors are, other than for games against, the usual teams you'd expect, Lakers, Celtics, etc., the Knicks, obviously they're not, an easy ticket to move. Let's put it that way. But in any case, you're right. Your bigger point was about Toronto is a Maple Leafs town in terms of fan support for any other hockey, pretty much, with some exceptions for some Marley games or playoff games or during a labor dispute. You're right. It's not a hockey town, and it's not the center of the hockey universe. That's the most exaggerated pile of garbage ever.
Well, and here's one that would really probably bring laughter to some people, but there is no scientific evidence that Toronto would support a second NHL team. I've heard these people screaming about this for years now. You could put another NHL team in Southern Ontario, you'll make money hand over fist. There's no evidence of that. There's none that the people will go. If you put a team called the Mississauga something or the Toronto something else's, there is no evidence that people will support that to the level that you need it supported to run a major league team. And they say, well, there's three teams in the Metro New York area, and I imagine there's only one in Toronto. Well, yeah, but the Devils lose money every year, and the Islanders are losing their ass too. So that's great. They say, well, there's teams they go on to talk about other cities. It's just the Clippers and the
Lakers.
The Clippers and that doesn't relate. That doesn't relate to hockey.
Well, plus LA is twice the size of Toronto. So is Chicago. So is New York.
I mean, there's really just no evidence that they would support it. Now, there's no evidence that they wouldn't support it, except that, as you just said, they've never really supported anything other than the Leafs.
That's right. I mean, that's the only team that can get away with losing for not only, a few weeks, but for like a decade that they were. Till this year they made the playoffs, and hardly anybody canceled their season tickets. Holy crap. I mean, that's the only team that's not held accountable for poor performance in this city.
No, there are some cities that are just simply major league cities, and when you bring a product to them that isn't major league, or you bring a second major league of the same sport to that city, they don't support it. They're major league cities. And when you think about it, think about the lifestyle of Toronto people, right? It's busy. They've got a busy lifestyle. You got your family, your kids, your job, your this, your that. Yeah. You're driving all over the place. You're trying to earn a buck to survive in a place that costs you a lot of money to live, rather.
Yeah.
And now, this is not a slow place where, oh well, let's go see the local junior kids play tonight.
Yeah, fat chance.
Because this is a major city, and so yes, will they do that in London? Yes, they'll do it in London and Kitchener and all these places, but not in the major city. Now, will they say, let's go down and see the Leafs play? Yeah, because that's why I work my ass off, because I want to be able to go and spend $150 on a ticket to go to a Leaf game.
Yeah.
Do I want to spend $45 on going to see a Marley game, or $25 on going to see a St. Michael's Buzzers game? No, thanks. I'd rather go with the wife and see my son play soccer that night. So I get it, why a city like Toronto doesn't support it. And by the way, Montreal really doesn't support junior hockey either.
I didn't think so. They lost, I must have been a teenager when they lost the Montreal Junior Canadiens, right? How long ago was that?
Right. Well, they were called, I think, near the end. I know when I played junior hockey in the Quebec League, they were called Montreal Bleu Blanc Rouge. They weren't even called the Junior Habs anymore.
Okay, so that goes back to when I was a kid in the 60s. I remember, they played against the Marlies. It was a nice rivalry. But, yeah, I had no recollection as to when they changed their name or were no longer, that same team.
Right, because people, again, they really don't support that. And you need, if you're going to run one of these operations, be it junior hockey or minor league hockey in a major city, the rental of the building is expensive, the employees are expensive, everything's more expensive than in a smaller place.
Sure.
So you're going to need that much more support, that much more corporate support, that much more suite holders and concession sales and all that. And the numbers that you can do, you just can't do those numbers in that city. So that to me, there's a logic behind why Toronto doesn't support junior hockey. And I'm not saying it's right or that I like it. I'm just saying there's a logic there. I can understand it. But it's certainly changed since the 60s when you'd go and see the St. Michael's Buzzers play. They weren't the St. Michael's Majors play, and then you'd see the Marlies play, a doubleheader at Maple Leaf Gardens.